Hello listeners, this is Patrick Tracy, co-founder and director of Cogsop Productions. This is typically the part where we would play a funny clip from today's episode, but I wanted to take this moment to personally thank each and every one of you for listening to our show. We just hit 10 episodes, it's been a great deal of fun for us, and we hope that you continue to support us in the future. Make sure that you check us out on iTunes, under Cog Talk Episodes. Check us out on Facebook at /Cogsop Productions, Twitter, cog_stop, Instagram /Cogsop Productions, Tumblr /Cogsop Productions, and most importantly our website at www.cogsopproductions.com. Thank you again for your support. We hope that you will give us ratings, give us reviews, share us with your friends, and most importantly, listen in every week. Have a great day, and let's get this show started.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Welcome to Cog Talk, a podcast brought to you by Cogsop Productions, home of podcast, tabletop, and geek talk. 12 Years Hollow, the Cog Talk theme, is written and performed by Bearghost. To listen to this track and more, check out www.facebook.com/BearGhostAttacks. Hi, welcome to Cog Talk, a Cogsop Productions podcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Scott.
I'm Katherine.
And today's special guest is Peace and Quiet, because we are missing our co-host, Josh Haynes.
Yeah.
And therefore, no one can deny that we are recording today from the Halls of Justice.
It is amazing.
It is immaculate.
But there's only one hall.
There's so many abdomens in here. So many.
It's glorious.
Speaking of glorious, we all went on a trip the other day.
Yes, we did. We went to Comic-Con. Phoenix ComiCon, but Comic-Con nonetheless.
Yes, and I've got to say, this was the first Comic-Con that I've ever gone to because I'm a bad nerd, in which I stay at home and be a nerd instead of going out with other nerds.
That's perfectly fine. Up until a few years ago, I had never been to Comic-Con. Katherine took me to my first.
I made him go.
Aww.
No, she invited me, and I was like, yes, take me, please.
With big puppy dog eyes, like, I love you.
He nearly crushed my hand.
That was a good day.
So, I want to hear what's your Phoenix ComiCon impressions. Like, I'll go first because it was my first year. I loved it up until a certain point, and my certain point of the day was when the families came with the kids, because I guess the kids don't wake up until like after 1:30. And I know it's a family event, and I can appreciate that, but when I'm a 6-foot tall guy walking through a crowd of like 3'4" to 3'5" children, I feel out of place, and I immediately got a level of awkwardness. Whereas, like, I don't know if I should be in the same room as this. I feel like the guy that didn't get out of Pokemon cards quick enough, and he went to, like, the Pokemon tournaments, and he's, like, 22, like, I got an awesome deck, it has a, Charizard. And the little kid's like, that deck's for pussies.
I got all the original cards.
Yeah.
Your cards are shit now.
There's no Pokemon now. You're an idiot.
No, there's only 151.
No, you're wrong, mister.
But, I gotta say, like, walking through the exhibitors hall, going to the hotels next door and seeing some of the events going on there were great. And just the way that they shut down the streets for this was perfect. Like, it made parking in the beginning a pain in the ass, but the whole event was just, it was magical. It was nerd Disneyland for me.
You're talking about when they shut down Monroe. Yeah, this is the first year they shut down Monroe. We had out there, we had the Marines with the rock wall for climbing. We had food trucks, car show. All of 3rd Street in Monroe was shut down. And yeah, parking was a nightmare. It took me 45 minutes. After I dropped you guys off at the convention center, it took me 45 minutes to park. It was a nightmare. People are just stupid.
We forgot to do something at the beginning of this.
Did we?
We forgot to give someone some love. We have a listener who's just recently followed us, so I wanted to call him out on the air. Brandon from Sleep Med.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
No, not you.
Better. Yeah, my name's Brandon, too.
Better Brandon.
Oh.
Better Brandon.
Because he has a job?
Yep, because he works at Sleep Med, and he listened to us. He's got 2 things over you.
Yeah. Looks
Well,
like
you
it.
listen to us. You take, I don't know.
I have to listen to
But
us,
thank
though.
you for listening, Brandon. We just wanted to give you a personal shout-out on the air. So, yeah, they shut down the streets, and when you were parking, I know that I had Katherine with me inside the convention center, and she was antsy, so to say. Like, she's like, we should go do this. You can come check out. Like, she was trying to play tour guide to me.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there on my phone getting Twitter ready, so that way I can start taking pictures of people and put them on our Twitter site. Like, we got a good picture of Uncle Iroh.
Yeah.
We got a great picture of Luigi. Nick Fury, that was amazing.
I saw you got a picture with Shell from, is her name Shell from Portal?
Yep.
Yeah. That was a really good cosplay.
Yes, and there's a bunch of amazing cosplayers, and she's like, well, you should go check things out. I'm like, I'm checking people out!
Yeah, my whole thing is just, like, when you go to Comic-Con, there's so much to do, and I'm one of those people that are like, well, since it's your first day, let's go and find things for you to do instead of standing here staring at everything.
Yeah, like, I was taking a little bit to sink in, but at the same time, my mind was going into sniper mode, where it's like, I gotta find someone with a cool costume, because I'm not wearing a cool costume. Take a picture with a cool costume person.
Yep.
So that way I can be cool by association. But as a first year Comic-Con goer, I really enjoyed it this year. You know, like, it was a lot of fun. There's certain moments of awkwardness that we'll go into later, but overall, I thought it was great. I thought it was really enjoyable. You guys are kind of Comic-Con veterans now, being exhibitors for 3-4 years now?
3 years.
2 years. This was our second year being an exhibitor, but 3 years ago we were also at the DOZD booth helping them out, working, but this is the second year that we actually had the exhibitor passes.
Yeah, so the exhibitor title. What do you guys think? Because this is your now...
Fourth year, fifth year?
Fourth?
Year of Phoenix ComiCon.
Go ahead. You can go first.
Well, my whole thing with Comic-Con is that last year compared to this year was overwhelming. We went up by, 40% of people?
We were over 40% of last year's max numbers, which last year we were at 60,000, which put us at, 85? And that was just pre-order tickets.
Holy crap.
Like, after you get the people that just walk in, we probably hit between 90 and 100,000 people. Little bit of scope, San Diego Comic-Con, last year, 120,000.
So we're catching up. We're getting close.
We're expected to match that next year, maybe even take over San Diego's numbers.
Well, when does San Diego's Comic-Con go on? Is it happening?
It's January.
No.
No, that's Amazing Arizona.
No. San Diego's in a week or two?
So, do you think that maybe Arizona is becoming like a pit stop Comic-Con for certain people and certain actors?
It's definitely a pit stop for the bigger celebrities, which is why I think we got so many big celebrities this year. But yeah, I'd say for the goers, it's definitely one of those pit stops, which is just boosting our numbers, and eventually we're going to be better than San Diego. I'm calling it. We're going to be better than San Diego Comic-Con.
That is a bold statement.
It is very bold.
I would love to have the better Comic-Con in my backyard, but I don't know. San Diego's been doing it right. And a lot of these actors already live there, so it's like, yeah, sure, I'll drive down, a couple cities to go to a comic book thing.
Comic book convention.
Thank you. I did a lot of talking with a lot of people yesterday. My main goal yesterday was to go people watching.
That's $1 in the jar.
Yes, I know. That's a failure on my boat.
For me, going from a technical point, because I've been to Comic-Con, I've geeked out, and now it's kind of doing the work, seeing how it all goes on backstage. It's massive. We took over the South Building this year, and there was still a point when we were going between the North and South Building. It took us a good 15-20 minutes to walk there, just because there was so much foot traffic. We were... What was the term that you used last night?
We were dicks to asshole.
Dicks to asshole packed.
This is before the children were there, because otherwise it'd be like dicks to back of heads.
Yeah.
Because they were short, and it was awkward. You introduced me to some great people at Comic-Con. We found some great people. Scott and I kind of went on a person search for the most part. We were looking
Networking.
at networking. We're looking at different artists and finding out who's awesome at Comic-Con. And in the exhibitors section, you introduced me to a great author, Jeremy Burleigh, I believe is his name.
Yes. Oh, he is a phenomenal artist. And it was perfect because he was, kitty corner from the DOZD booth, so I could just walk over there. He's got a book, he's got comic books, and I can't stress enough, you have to read his comics, you have to read his book.
Which one are the books? I believe it was In the Eyes of the God, or
Eye of the Gods.
Eye of the Gods. And then there was a Western one, too. That was the story of Lucifer's fall.
It was the fall of Lucifer told as a Western. So nobody can say, oh, this isn't canon, oh, this isn't what happened. It's his own retelling of a story that he knows in a different style, so he can make it his own. It's called Morning Star. And if anybody knows the story of Lucifer, he was known as the Morning Star. He was God's most glorious angel. And so it's all about his fall. And from the looks of it, I haven't been able to read it yet. I've been really busy, but I picked up issue number 1. It looks like it's an Old West style comic book.
So, did you read that too, Catherine? I think I saw you the other night with the book.
Yeah, I actually fully read it. Which one? That's the...
You read Eye of the Gods.
Oh, I read Eyes of the Gods, not the... But Eyes of the Gods is really intense. It's, the best summary to give it to you is the government basically adjusts people's eyes so that way they can keep track of your every movement, can see from your eyes. And this guy ended up getting visions, and he wasn't supposed to.
So, like, pretty much, if it was on a certain frequency, he kind of, like, tapped into that frequency?
Yeah, he would be able to access... He somehow was able to access anyone's eyes. And he wasn't part of the government or anything.
That sounds pretty badass. I know that I enjoyed talking to him. He was an excellent speaker, and, it was great talking to him, great kind of bouncing, not necessarily ideas, but, like, different techniques used.
Yeah.
And just overall very welcoming. If you are interested in checking out his stuff, you can see his stuff at www.optichouse.com. And I highly, highly, highly recommend seeing him.
He's actually got a deal going on right now where you can get the first 3 issues of Morning Star, his book, Eye of the Gods, and one of his prints of original art for $35. It's a $45 value, $10 off.
No, I've seen this man's art. It is easily like a $60 to $70 value.
Well, no, I'm saying all of that combined, yes.
I know.
But the print alone, his art is amazing. And the cool thing is he does his own art and coloring. Mm-hmm. Like he's just talented. He's an artist. He's a colorist. He's a writer. Oh,
he's just got so much talent going on.
Also, his partner makes jewelry. She puts his artwork inside jewelry for people to wear.
Yep, I forget his partner's name at the moment, but Jeremy, if you're listening, make sure you give her a big old hug because she's awesome. Another guy that we met works at VIP 8-Bits, Victor Danridge.
Oh, I loved that booth.
The booth alone was a very simple idea. Behind him, he had, I want to say, a couple hundred.
Probably 150, 200.
He had about 150, 200 8-bit characters behind him. And the booth idea was simple enough. He said, for $2, your goal is to guess 10 people up on this board. But none of them have been in a video game. But they're all done in 8-bit style. And, looking through, I saw Goku in 8-bit style. I called out
all forms of Goku.
Yep, every single Power Ranger. I saw Jules from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that was your final one. That was your number 10, which I congratulate you on that one because I saw it and I was like, is that supposed to be Jay from Men in Black?
No.
I couldn't tell.
It was Jules. I could tell. It was the gun positioning and everything.
Yeah, I went easy. I went with the TARDIS and the Dalek and the Doctor, things like that.
But he had all kinds of characters on this, and the 8-bit style is great. Like, I actually have one of his prints from the show still with me, and it is Wolverine, but after he's done with the Weapon X experiment.
Oh, so he's got the helmet and the weird diaper thing and all the wires.
Yeah, and he's just got his metal claws, and, you know, since 8-bit is such a... I don't want to say it's limiting, but it is a limited art form compared to some of the other art forms. Catherine, you can testify being an artist yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can only do so much.
For just being, for the most part, squares, to be able to depict that character like that, I mean, it's obvious when you look at him that it's Wolverine from that scene.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what impressed me so much about his artwork.
I even got a character that I haven't seen. I got the old man Wolverine when he's got gray hair and everything. I've never seen that comic. So now I'm going to be on a search to find that because I've seen it. I've seen the 8-bit. I want to see what that entire story is. That's kind of intriguing to me.
Yeah. I know you weren't with us, Catherine, but he had some beautiful artwork. I'm sure that if you named any character, he could either already have it on his Tumblr, or he might be able to do it for you.
Yeah.
But you can definitely check out Victor and his crew at VIP8bits.tumblr.com. That's VIP, the number 8, BITS.
Now, he doesn't only sell these prints, he also sells T-shirts. And I bring this up because you saw him, and it was his T-shirt that got you to go to his booth. What did the shirt say?
Like Barbara Dunkelman from Rooster Teeth, I am big on puns. Just the other day, I was making dick jokes across Twitter with another podcast host. I don't remember his name up front. I remember that it's Got That is his screen name for right now. But his T-shirt, the main reason why it caught me, it was very simple. It was just I believe it was a red T-shirt with white text, and it said, "Mind your bitness." And that got me to chuckle, which got me to go over. And that's what I love about people that work these booths, is if they find a way to get you in, then that's good on them. Like, before we get to our next one, I gotta point out that there was some artists and some booths that were overall unwelcoming.
Oh,
and that was
definitely.
That was very bad. I met one artist who I will never mention the name on here, but I noticed that he had several comics, and he had one comic with a pretty big logo on it.
One of the big threes.
Yeah, one of the big threes for publishers. I'm like, oh, you worked with blah, blah, blah publisher? And he got really snarky with me. Like, yeah, I write the blah, blah, blah series and the blah, blah, blah series. And got, like, really indignant. To paint this picture correctly, keep in mind that I was the only one at his booth. There was, like, a dozen people at the booth next to his, and there was, like, half a dozen at the booth on the opposite side, but he was sitting alone.
Didn't have a partner, didn't have anybody looking at his stuff.
Yep, and I went over because I saw that he was sitting alone. I'm like, what's this guy's deal? I'm like, maybe he's just got stuff. Maybe he's just sitting and watching the booth. And to have that experience, I was kind of like, now I realize why you're sitting by yourself.
Yeah, he had really good work. I mean, he deserves to be working with that publisher, but the personality overwrites all of that.
Yeah, well, especially when it comes to the social skills of selling your comic at a convention.
Yeah.
Like, it was my first year, but I could tell the people that wanted to sell things, and they were really personal with people, they got the most attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there was one group that was selling, it was 8-bit coloring mats, but the mats had math problems in it. It was strictly for kids. But it was like, you know,
I used to love those.
Yeah.
Those were awesome.
And it was the, you know, color by number thing. So it was, you know, like, hey, you know, what's 6 times 2? And it's 12. And every square that has a number 12 in, you color this color.
Yeah. It was like multiplication was Spider-Man, and subtraction was the creeper from Minecraft. And it was a 2-sided page, each and every one of them.
Yeah, and they sold packs of these, like packs with 100, 200 pages. These guys were just amazing. That was a great product, because he would call out, like, what's your favorite characters? What's this? And, they were selling shirts, and they were just getting interactive. And sure enough, that booth had, 30, 40 people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was... You couldn't get around one of the end caps because they were just so big.
I think it's also perfect because Comic-Con is for kids and adults. A lot of adults I know would still do those type of coloring books. But mainly the fact that they got it connected to kids, and there's parents that end up going, they want to get their kids something, and what's your favorite character? And it gets the kids excited, and they're learning about something at the same time, doing something that they like.
Yeah, which is always, the great sneaky parent tactic of, I'm going to find something that you like, but you're going to learn with it.
Oh, yeah. And Comic-Con's a great place for that. There are so many booths that do that it's really good.
There's one more person that I want to give a shout-out to. I couldn't meet the artist of this book personally, but I did get to meet the writer, and that's Ovi... I'm going to mess up this last name so bad. I'm so sorry, Ovi. Ovi Demetrian?
Yeah, I think it's Demetrian.
Yeah, he's the writer for Hacktivity, which is one of the books that we had up on our Twitter account yesterday. And just a really overall cool guy. And I'm looking through the book. I'm loving the art style. I didn't get a chance to sit down and actually read through the whole book. I wasn't going to do that in front of Ovi. I'd feel like a complete asshole.
Yeah.
But it's a book that I look forward to reading to strictly off the art style alone. It's actually quite similar to Jeremy's art style, where it's just from a comic book novice status. It was just black and white with, shading.
Yeah.
And it was just overall just a really beautiful thing. What was your opinion on it, Scott?
On Activity? Oh, I loved it. I'm not exactly sure on what the story was. I didn't spend much time, but it's definitely I'm going to go to his website. I'm going to order it. Actually, I think he's a local artist, so I could go pick one up. But it's definitely something I don't read. Out of everybody in this group, I'm probably the one guy who hates reading the most. The last book I read was in high school, and it was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, when it first came out. That shows you how long it's been since I've sat down and read a book. But I'd actually go out and read these comic books. I bought a book at Comic-Con. I mean, that tells you...
Yeah, you bought Jeremy's book.
Yeah, I bought Jeremy's book. That tells you, how they reach out to somebody who hates reading. I have dyslexia. I just... can't stand it, it's stupid. But the fact that these people are like, hey, check this out, and it reaches out and grabs me, that makes me interested.
Did you see anyone, Katherine, on your adventures? I know that you went around and got a lot of pictures of cosplayers for our CogStop Instagram. Insta.
So cosplayers are just comic book artists and...
I saw that. I saw your feed was full. I was going by on Twitter, and I thought I was good with my, 15, 20 shots that I took. I look at yours, you were up to somewhere around 50.
Yeah. Basically, what happened is even though some of them were just basic costumes, some of them just wore horns, I asked them to take a picture with me, and they were in front of a booth that I was actually going to talk to the people that were the artists of the booth, or the writer. And I don't remember their name, but they just started about 2 years ago with their artwork and books. And he bases off of the Spartan history and the devil and everything. And they have this new one coming out where it's this this luchador, and he has a cat that's his best friend. But the luchador, got his mask removed, so he's homeless and poor, and the cat is,
You don't remove a luchador's mask. That's a total insult.
And the cat is basically the psychopathic girlfriend type of thing.
Oh.
But he's trying to get his life back together or whatever. And I pre-ordered it because they didn't have any out that I could actually really read it. But I can't wait to get in and see how it turns out. Because their artwork is very simple, but not too much.
When we get that in, we'll put it up on the website or on the Facebook so that you know what the comic is and where you can get it.
Yeah, because the guys and girls that are there, I want to give them the proper respect. These guys put their heart into these things. They bust their ass for it, blood, sweat, and tears. They got it out.
Oh, yeah.
And if they are still pleasant after that, like Jeremy was and Ovi, or if they're a complete dick after that, that determines their sales and how much I want to pitch them.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys. Outside of the comic, and book realm and art realm, we actually met a university there.
Yes,
too.
the University of Advancing Technology.
And their booth, I think, caught Scott very, first and foremost because they had rubber ninja stars everywhere.
Well, no, actually, the first thing that caught me was the video game that they had. And while I was playing, one of the people behind the booth threw a rubber ninja star at me, which made me like it even more.
Yeah, they were demoing the game that's coming out soon.
It's Super Combo Man, which was actually designed and programmed by one of their students.
And then there was another game, too, that I didn't get a chance to look at, but they were using the Oculus Rift.
Yeah, they were using the Oculus. It was a game that they had just, threw into design, but the fact that at Phoenix ComiCon we had an Oculus, I was in wow of that.
Yeah, from what you've been telling me, that Comic-Con's never been that big. Like, it's been popular, but it's never been an event that kind of, like, blew everyone out of the water like it did this year.
Yeah.
And I believe that we were talking to it. I think that was an instructor. I'm not sure if it was a student.
I believe it was an instructor, yes.
And while we're talking about it and, letting her know that we own a podcast and we do audio presentations and do geek culture talks, her eyes brightened up. And the only reason why I remember this is because she had the bluest eyes, and they brightened up, and she goes, "You see that behind me?" And she points behind her, and there's a big blue curtain coming up over her booth. She goes, "There's a green screen back there, and we are offering free videos to anyone who wants to go and shoot on the green screen."
And then our eyes lit up.
Yes, which are both shit cow brown.
I honestly wish I had been there to see that moment. That would have been awesome.
It was an epiphany on each side of the table.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But we were able to go back. We met an awesome student. I believe it was...
Nick.
Yeah, Nick was awesome because he was wearing a Nightwing shirt.
Yeah. Nick, we didn't catch your last name, but if you listen to this, good on you, man. You were great on helping us out with that.
Yep, and we got to shoot a little bit of a CogStop promo in the back.
Yeah, maybe coming out in a couple days.
Maybe we'll get it up on the YouTube. Maybe we'll give some links on Facebook.
Yeah, maybe.
I can't do the stupid thing. No, I was doing horrible. I'm sorry.
You were doing it great yesterday.
I was, and my voice is so shot after Comic-Con. It was such a blast. It looks like it's time for a plug.
It looks like it is.
Yep, and this is a plug that not even Scott will fuck with me over.
Not at all.
Because these guys are awesome. This is an unpaid plug. We just saw these guys. We have to plug them. They're so great. They run a charity called the Hero Initiative. It's helping comic creators in need. And what this charity does is a lot of the creators from the golden and silver ages of comic books, they worked for low pay rates. They didn't get any royalties off their creations, but they were such a pivotal role in our comic book universe. And some of them are in some dire straits right now. They're going through their health problems. They're getting up there in age. And what this charity does is it's the first federally chartered, not-for-profit organization to help these comic book veterans. And I think that's a wonderful thing. Like, these guys poured their heart out. They made something that we all love here today. And it's great for us as fans, and mainly us as people, to give back to these guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at some of the success stories that they had. Gene Colan, who helped Daredevil and Iron Man pretty much become what they are today, had spinal stenosis and cataracts, and they helped him out, paid for his medical funding, all those things. Some other people that they helped out was Russ Heath from Sergeant Rock, Tom Zuiko. I'm going to get beat the fuck up if I got that name wrong, because I'm not a Superman fan. But he was the colorist of Superman and Batman.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man, just so many great guys. Not only that, but they do all these different things for them. They help them with constellation services for their insurance, financial seminars, free medical consults and treatment. They're just overall great guys. I mean, even Joss Whedon loves them.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you want to help out these heroes, these great comic book revolutionaries, you can go to www.heroinitiative.org. I can spell that out for you, but I want to believe that you, the listeners, know how to spell hero and initiative.
I would hope so.
You take and are both. You dreamers, you, especially Brandon.
Such a dreamer.
Not you.
Yeah,
You're Scott, but Brandon.
I know.
So, being exhibitors at Comic-Con, I heard from a little, maybe just a little bird, that you and Katherine had a little bit of social awkwardness at your Department of Zombie Defense booth this year.
Yeah.
What happened? Please recant the story for me.
Do you want me to, or do you want to?
That's always the key sign of a great story. Of like, do you want to tell it? Can I tell it?
Because I have from what I saw was going on, and he was the one going through it.
So why don't we give him yours first, and then we'll go to what it was on my end.
Okay, so I'm sitting behind the booth, helping make their dog tag necklaces.
The DOZD booth.
Yep.
And I'm seeing one of the daughters talking to him and nudging him and petting his beard and then randomly holding onto him and petting his face and nuzzling him. And I'm sitting there.
What grown-ass woman pets a man's face?
It wasn't a grown-ass woman.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that's what makes it awkward. If it was a grown-ass woman, I could have yelled at her, screamed at her, been like, get the fuck off me, I'm married. This was a 15...
No. That's when you go, hey, honey, get over here, join in on this.
Well, the thing is that I saw him getting annoyed, and I let their aunt know that I wasn't comfortable, and also at the same time, he was looking like he was getting upset. And they just shrugged it off. They're like, whatever. And we're just sitting there, and the girl stops for a little bit and comes back and starts doing it again. And you see him trying to get her off of him.
So, for the record, when Scott gets mad, I'm not sure if anyone else has noticed this, but I hear microwaves. Where, I can hear, radiation coming off of Scott and just the constant sound of...
You don't even have to... It's funny, because you don't even have to be looking at him to know that he's mad.
You can sense it.
There's
a feeling in the air. Not to take the Christopher Titus bit, but you can smell ozone.
And so, I'm thinking, because since it was obvious that he was telling her to stop, and I saw her stop for a little while, I was like, okay, if she continues again, I'm going to go back up there. I go up there because she starts getting worse.
Third time. Hey, stop. Hey, stop. And then this is the third time now.
Yeah, so I go up there. I casually walk up and I put my hand on her shoulder. And they're talking. He's sitting normal, not talking to her.
And then whisper in her ear, if you touch him again, I'll fuck you.
She turns and looks at me. I'm like, hey, I'm his wife, right? She goes, oh my God, you're his wife? He told me that his wife was a redhead. I am a redhead. But your hair is blue. I dye my hair a lot.
My hair is not. Oh my God, my hair!
It's because blue is a natural hair color.
So I said to her calmly, and I wasn't...
Sorry, I'm totally distracted right now. Scott has the longest beard hair that just went up into his mustache, and he pulled it and put it back down to his, 4-inch goatee. I thought it was part of the mustache until it wasn't.
Well, anyways, I told her, hey, this is not okay. You can't really do that. If you want a hug from someone, you really honestly should ask. she thought that I was very scary. And
Crypto's being a dick.
but at the same time, I didn't think I was being mean or yelling, and I walk away. And later on in the day, he goes, "Oh yeah, you scared the crap out of her.
Oh.
She's so scared of you now. Like she doesn't even want to be near me because she thinks you'll yell at her."
Catherine's flexing muscles against preteen offenders.
Okay, so now from my side, it wasn't 3 times. It was more like 15. And it's constantly, every time she would like hug me or lean on me or something like that, I move away, start doing, because I was wearing my vest, and it was so tight that it was messing up my lower back, so I couldn't stand. So I'm sitting down. I can't run away. So I'm trying to pull myself away from her. I'm like, listen, stop. I'm going to tell my wife, and you're going to get in trouble. And she's like, oh, go ahead, tell her. So I stood up. I went over to Katherine, and I was like, hey, see that girl over there? She keeps leaning on me and hanging on me. It's annoying the shit out of me. And Katherine kind of blows it off. So I go back. I'm like, all right,
She
whatever.
looks you dead in the eyes and goes, see, I told you your wife wouldn't do anything.
Pretty much. So it keeps going on. And now this wasn't a flirtatious hanging on. She wasn't, one of those girls. It was mainly that she had met a guy that was like she's 15, met a guy that was 16, and, was like, oh, he was so cute, and, oh my God, I forgot to get his number. Da, 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 da. I didn't tell him what booth we're at.
She was just in, full, gossip girl mode, where it's like, I'm going to be, as obnoxious as possible, because we all knew those kids in high school.
Yeah. And in her family, I guess it's natural that it's like, I love you so much, glomp. I hate you so much, glomp.
What the fuck is a glomp?
It's like a tackle hug.
Most people call that rape. If I went to tackle hug a woman in the park, she'd be screaming rape.
Well, you only glomp people that you know.
I'm going to go glomp my girlfriend.
I've been
She would love
glomped
it.
by my first year going to Comic-Con, I was actually glomped by a random guy.
I don't like that word. Let's stop using it. But anyways, this girl is hanging on you.
Yeah, so I'm constantly getting away. And I told her at one point, she started stroking my beard. And I understand that it's glorious, but not just anybody can touch it. You have to ask first. But she's just sitting here, rubbing on my face. And I'm like, if you don't stop doing that, I'm going to bite you. And then she did it again. So I nipped at her. And it wasn't like the cute, playful bite. It was like you're trying to take away a dog's sirloin steak. I was meaning to draw blood if I hit her.
The dog had to work hard for that sirloin.
And I had to work hard for this beard. So what it came down to, Katherine came over, told her to, I'm his wife, you should stop doing that. And she was like, oh, I can't believe that you're married. And it's like, I told you I was married. I told you that was my wife. You're not paying the fuck attention.
Yeah, she plays you as the... never mind, I'm not going to make that joke. She's underage.
There you go.
Go on.
So, about a half hour passes, and I'm talking to some of the other agents, and she's talking about something, and I spoke to her. She's like, oh, I'm not allowed to talk to you. She puts her hands, she crosses her hands in front of her, like the body language when you're trying to block yourself off, lowers her head and backs away from me. And I'm like, it's okay to talk to me. You just can't start hanging on me and being all clingy and stuff. And I wasn't cussing at her. And she's like, oh no, your wife is going to get so mad. And I was like, all right, well, I don't have to deal with you anymore. I'm going to go sit back down.
Which in my mind tells me that maybe Catherine's not telling the full story. Maybe Katherine approached her, ripped the skin off her face, and fire burned through the eye holes of her skull. She's like, if you ever talk to my husband again. And it's just full Beelzebub looking at her, and then put her face back on, because she's a redhead and those guys are scary. Just saying.
I actually didn't see Katherine, but I did notice a significant increase in heat.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, maybe that's what happened.
There are things about my wife that even I don't know.
Gingers.
Yeah.
They're fucking scary.
Very much so.
Very.
So, long story short, parents, teach your kids not to hang on grown-ass people. Whether it's a boy hanging on a grown-ass woman, or a girl hanging on a grown-ass man, or girls hanging on women and boys hanging on men. Don't do that shit. Teach them proper.
Where was that R&B group, Boys Hanging on Men? I had a little bit of social awkwardness because I went to Comic-Con to enjoy myself, but I also went with the sub-objective of work.
Yeah.
I'm looking to promote the podcast. You, as the audience, are doing a great job by sharing us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, website, and YouTube, because we have all 6, because we love to get this stuff to you. And I was talking to a vendor, and the vendor was selling etched glass that had neon lights in it that lit up.
Gorgeous work.
Yeah, gorgeous work. And, they had Mortal Kombat symbol, which I was a fan of. They had Superman. They had all the nerd culture stuff. And I went up to them, and I asked, do you do custom pieces? And she had said, no. And just, dropped it, no. And I said, oh, okay. And then she brought it back up, which was the weird part. She goes, what size were you looking for? I'm like, oh, okay, I got an interest. And I point to the largest size because I would want it big as hell. And I tell her, I want the largest one, which was, I think, about $50 or $60.
It was $45, but being a custom piece, it'd have to, rework everything.
Yeah, I would
It'd
gladly
probably be $80 to $100.
Yeah, I would gladly pay $100 for something that size if it was my custom logo. I'm like, I'd look about that size. And she goes, oh no, we don't do custom work. And in my mind, my first knee-jerk reaction is to say, bitch, why'd you even bring it back up? But I couldn't. So I go, oh, well, okay then. I'm like, maybe I can work a different angle. And I ask her, do you have a business card? And she just looks at me and gives me the Family Guy house cleaner, no.
No business card here.
Yeah, which she wasn't Mexican? She didn't look anything like the housekeeper, but she gave me that type of answer where it's just a flat no. And I'm sitting there, she's still looking at me, staring at me. I'm staring back. Scott's on the side. I'm sure Scott can feel the awkwardness, the tension in the scene, as I just go, oh, well, alright? I just walk. I didn't know how to disengage from that, because she kept re-engaging me after telling me no. It was, oh man, there's social contracts. Some social contracts should be upheld. One of them, I learned from the convention, as you would in high school, traffic that's going forward needs to go on the right side of the hall. Because both sides follow that, then both sides will keep going in the directions they want to be going. People that fight traffic deserve to be trampled.
Or people that stop.
Yeah, stopping it was a big pet peeve of mine, where it's why did you decide to sit down now, here, in the hallway?
This is a walkway, not a sit way, not a stand way, not a be a douchebag way.
You guys actually reminded me of, I was trying to get back into the convention center, and I was maneuvering my way in because I have an exhibitor's pass, I have right of way past anyone. And this mom saw me maneuver around everyone, hunted me down, pushed me, and then went in front of me, rolled her eyes at me, and then noticed I had the badge and had that huge look of guilt on her face. But she continued to not let me move forward.
See, that's after bitch guilt.
If
ABG, as they call it.
Well, she was already invested. It's lucky that wasn't me, because I'd been bitch, what the fuck is your problem? Kid or not? Because she had a kid with her, right?
Her kid was with her husband. So
either way, I will beat you to death with your 6-year-old.
Yeah. It's I don't give a damn. You don't just rush up, bump me out of the way, take my place, and then roll your eyes at me like it was my fault. That's stupid.
That is just upright. Oh, man. Some people. So, there's been a lot of stuff on the internet, jumping off the Comic-Con train. I gotta talk about the how should I put it? The golden garden that has come from Mario Kart 8. not only is it fun gameplay, but it has one of the best mechanics in it.
You mean the most talked about topic in Mario Kart 8 ever?
Yes, it has the best mechanic in it, in which it is Luigi death stares anyone that passes him or he passes. Like, all racers are programmed to look at the other racer that they're passing. So it's kind of one of those, like, Mario passed Bowser and stuff like that. But for some reason, Luigi's eyebrows are just dipped so low, and every time he turns around, it's this instant look of, like, motherfucker.
And the best part is, during the replays, you can slow it down.
And it makes it tenfold worse.
Oh, yeah. I watched a video where Luigi took it, like, Daisy took out Luigi and passed, and she had this playful look on her face. And then Luigi hit her with a red shell, and she's upside down as he's turned with that look and just like, dumb bitch, and kept going.
Yeah, like even like Bowser, who is the series villain, always kind of has that surprise look of like, I did it. Like he looks doofy. But Luigi, the character that's supposed to be like friendly, a little bit shy, a little bit awkward, is like just mean mugging every single racer in this game. I love playing as him.
They gave the quiet person a weapon. That's what happens.
The more I hear about the stories of Luigi and the slow motion and everything, makes me want to play it even more. I haven't had a chance to do that.
Thankfully, our friends at SilverQ have been bringing up a Wii for us to play it, and then I know that my girlfriend Stephanie and her brother have invested in a Wii U for their house, and it's so much fun. Mario Kart's definitely one of those games that will go down for centuries as the best multiplayer game.
Oh, yeah.
But that brings me to my topic, which I want to title Mean Motherfucker. So if we ever have a live podcast, that's where the big, bold lettering comes up underneath us and says, Mean Motherfucker! And, most likely in the wallet print off of Jules' wallet from Pulp Fiction where it says, Bad Motherfucker, was it?
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, I want to know what, in your opinion, who is the meanest motherfucker in games? Like, just look-wise. Like, because that's what Luigi has going for him, is that death stare. Like, my personal one would be Marcus Phoenix from the Gears of War series. That guy has a face where, like, if he frowns at you, I shit blood. Like, that's how mean this guy looks. And, it doesn't help that he has, like, the world's bulkiest armor and a gun with a chainsaw on the front of it. But the face alone is enough to be like, no, you can have the upper land. I'll stay in the ground. Fuck this. I'm gonna go tell my queen that she can go take a flying fuck off a high cliff.
I'd rather do that than mess with you.
Yes. I'm sorry, sir. It just, like, drop the gun, back away slowly. Like, he's just got the meanest look. What about you, Catherine?
My character that is most intimidating to me is Ezio.
From Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Ezio Auditore Differenze.
Mainly because he has a blank look on his face. Like, whenever he's going to kill, anything that happens, really, there's just a blank look. And, like, even when there's people cosplaying him, for some reason, in the back of my mind, I just stop moving where I am, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, if I don't move, he won't kill me.
He's like a T-Rex.
Yeah. I can agree to that. Like, the worst thing about Assassin's Creed, like, from an NPC's point of view, is like, I got stabbed, and the guy that is looking at me looks as cool as Ice Cube on skis. Like, he's just absolutely just stone-faced, like, yeah, I don't mind that I just completely disemboweled you from the back with my little blade. My little knifey knife.
Well, mine isn't a look, because you can't see his face. My choice is Master Chief.
Ooh.
And it's because you can't see his face. If Marcus Phoenix were in front of me, mad dogging me, revving the chainsaw, I'd be scared, but it's not like, shit your pants scared. But if Master Chief steps out of a dark alley and he's looking at me, Nope. He can have anything he wants.
Are you dying over there, Scott? I feel bad for you.
Just a little bit.
I would say,
Just
can
him
you feel
thinking about it.
Luigi's stare on you?
Just a little bit. All the way from Rainbow Road in space. But Master Chief is just... He's intimidating. It's the armor that does it for me. Because he's 7'2", and which makes him one of the shortest Spartans. But he's...
I like how 7'2" is like the shortest Spartan.
Yeah, that gives you kind of a clue on the rest of them. But he's scary. Just that blank mask staring at you. You don't know if he's smiling, if he's frowning, if he's making a silly face. I bet you he's sticking his tongue out at people all the damn time.
Well, and then, like, to add on to that one, the visor is reflective.
Yeah.
So the last thing that you see is the look that you have, which is most likely, oh dear God, what's this blue thing on my face? And then, shortly after,
Boom.
Kasplodie.
Kasplodie.
I'm glad that one got Catherine, was Kasplodie.
That might have to be our title.
Oh, yeah. It's like Shaboopy. Kasplodie, Kasplodie. I can't remember the rest of the song.
Yeah, no.
Yep, then it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah. We've got a little bit of time left. I just have to bring this up. After we went to Comic-Con, we ate dinner, stuff like that. We went out to Silver Q Lounge on 67th and Cactus for some hookah. And I did not know this about myself, but I think I like the UFC.
Right? That was the first time I sat down and watched an entire, I guess...
Event?
Yeah, event. I was going to say episode. I couldn't figure out the word. But yeah, an entire event of UFC. I was really into it.
Yeah, like they had one horrible fight. I remember it was the first fight that I watched, and maybe that's what set it up for me was I forget what it was. It was before the main show cards, but it was just two guys, and one guy was just, like, hitting away and, like, chipping, and the other guy was on defense, and there was no action. And I was vocally pissed off about that, which surprised me because I'm not a big fan of UFC, but instantly became an expert on UFC. You know how that goes? Where it's like, you watch a sport for 5 minutes, you're like, well, he could have done this, and you like instantly know how to do it better than the guy. You've got that like fake superiority complex of being the video gamer.
Start
like,
using the lingo after you just heard it.
Yeah, armbar. Yeah, armbar. Twerked it. Oh wait, no wait, that's wrong. Shit.
After us watching that made me want to play those games.
Yeah, but the games are actually really fun.
Yeah.
I think in the latest one you can play as Bruce Lee was the hidden character.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Might have to go pick that up.
But there were some awesome fights.
Oh, it doesn't matter how awesome the other fights were. That final one, it was...
Kovalov versus Henderson.
Oh.
The good old Flagstaff boy up there.
No, he was Glendale.
He's from Glendale, but his gym's in Flagstaff. Either way,
okay,
Arizona native.
Yes.
And, congratulations on your win.
Well, if you listen to this, I want you to know that Pat was not rooting for you.
I was voting for Kovalov.
Because...
My rationality is that guy's from Russia, and I always have to go for the guy that's not allowed to go home if he loses. That's why I always go for the China team in gymnastics for the Olympics. They don't get to go home if they lose.
And I went with Henderson because what it came down to was the basic stats. He is a previous champion. He is number 1, and he was holding his own. He was like,
as the fight went on, I became a fan of Henderson. I still wanted to stick by my first choice, which was Kovalov, not knowing anything about them, just, stats and seeing the kind of pre-clips.
Yeah.
But as the fight went on, I could just see that Henderson had it. He was just better conditioned. Kovalov was tired. Henderson was always just completely cool.
Well, Kovalov had never fought in a 5-round match before,
and
Henderson was a veteran of it.
And as soon as round 4 came by, you could see that Kovalov was like, fuck me.
But you also have to look at the mentality they have going in. Kovalov was like, I've got the best coach, I've got the best sparring partners, I've got the best of everything. This is mine no matter what. Henderson walked in saying, oh, I know I'm going to get thrown. I know I could take a foot to the head. I'm going to do everything I can to stop it, but if it happens, I need to know how to work around it. He was balanced. He knew that it wasn't his.
Yeah, and then they had that awful judgment call, in my opinion.
Oh, the fight.
Oh,
Was that right
God.
before it?
Diego versus Ross.
I thought it was Pearson.
Well, it's I think it's Pierce. What's his last name? But it's Ross Pierce or Ross Pearson. Either way, it was an awful fight. Ross had it all the way. Like he was leading strikes. He hit the hardest. And for some reason, the judges still said Diego won at the end of the fight.
Yeah. Now I was going for Diego, but in the middle of the fight, I could see strikes alone. This is going to Pearson. I'll stand by my pick, but I understand that he's going to lose. And then at the end, everyone was surprised when they gave it to Diego. No. He was sloppy. He was all over the place. Barely got any good strikes in. And Pearson was controlling the entire octagon. He had him up against the cage. He put him right where he wanted. He got a lot of really nice hits.
Yeah, he was a surgeon with those hits.
It was just...
I know that you don't watch UFC, Catherine. What was your opinion on that? Like, because after
actually-
a while, you became enthralled with it too, because the rest of us were watching
honestly, I don't think any of you guys knew about this, but I used to watch it a lot.
Oh, so
I
now we
stopped
know
for
what
a
happened
couple
to
of-
that young girl.
Yeah. You put her in a guillotine lock, didn't you?
Yep, and that's why she got in the defensive pose of like, I need to guard everything and just back away. She won't come out of the rafters
it never
and choke
happened
me
if
out.
it wasn't caught on camera.
Is that pleading the fifth, which is almost like pleading guilty, but you can't prove it?
I think so.
Oh dear. Well, before she gets convicted of anything, we might have to sign off. Just a personal note from me, Scott, and Catherine. Josh too. He's not here. He can't join us today. But thank you so much for being listeners. We love hearing back from you guys. Go to iTunes. Give us some stars. It could be 5 stars. We'd love you. It could be 1 star. We appreciate your opinion. Check us out on Twitter. You can catch us at cog_stop. You can catch Scott at NewBillScott, and you can catch Catherine at
TatGamerGirl.
TatGamerGirl. You can also catch us on Instagram at CogStop. You can see the pictures that Catherine took. I'm on the Twitter. Facebook /CogStop Productions. YouTube /CogStop Productions.
Tumblr /CogStop Productions.
Yeah, we love hearing back from you guys. Check out any avenues that we have, and hopefully one day we can raise $900,000 like Rooster Teeth did in 2 days.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because
nice.
those guys are amazing, and we hope that you think that we're amazing, so that way we can continue to be amazing.
Well, I'll tell you what, the first step to raising that $900,000 is raising $600, and maybe we might see you guys at Comic-Con next year.
Yes, I'm definitely thinking about a booth, because my legs hurt from walking.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, this is Patrick.
This is Scott.
This is Catherine.
Thank you for listening. Take care.
Bye.